I'm sure you've heard riches are in the niches, but just recently I've seen a lot of content from people that say niching is outdated, that you are the niche, and that niching can actually cost you money by making your market too small. So what is it? What gives? Like, has the marketing game actually changed, and what should you do? Should you be niching down or not? The answer is it depends. Let's dive in. Hey, what's up? I'm Ray Green, former managing director of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and CEO for a handful of investor groups, currently a strategic growth partner for B2B businesses and MSPs. One thing that I've learned in 20 years of sales and marketing is that there's always a new way, right? There's always a new way. There's a new way to do things. And when the new way to do things comes out, what needs to happen is you need to kind of like vilify the old way. You need to demonize the old way. Like, that can't be good anymore. You don't want to do that. Like, you've got to do it this way. And sometimes the new way is, in fact, better. And if you're not using it, you're losing money. And sometimes the new way is not better. And by using it, you're losing money. And it gets confusing when you have conflicting information. You're like, all right, should I niche? Should I not niche? The answer is really, it depends on the context of what you're niching. And I'm going to break it down real quick because I just recently had some experience with this past year that led to a lot of learning on my part and some pretty substantial changes. So I'm just going to share what I've learned and how I look at it now, when to niche, when not to niche. So tools, tactics, techniques, technology, these are things that change. They come and go. And when a new one comes out, it is oftentimes better than the last one. It doesn't mean that trading to the new one is actually going to merit the switching costs and all that stuff. Oftentimes when it comes to the tactical level of things, they are changing. AI is out today. It's better than the thing that you were using before. So if you don't make the change, it's kind of like you're staying with the horse and buggy and they're using the airplane, right? So, and that makes it hard to compete. And that's generally true on a lot of tactical and technology-based things. But the fundamentals don't change. The fundamentals, especially with sales and marketing, are based on human nature. They're based on human psychology. They're based on how we think, how we make decisions, and we've learned over the years how to influence that. So the fundamentals of sales and marketing don't actually change that much because humans are not actually changing that much. We're changing, yes, but not as fast as we think we are, which is why the fundamentals are nearly timeless. And one of those fundamentals is the more relevant your message is to the audience, the more likely they are to buy from you because the more that they trust you. Because one of the underlying objections that prospects have as they go through your entire process is, does this thing work? But more importantly, does it work for me? Because the vast majority of people will go, I know it worked for them, but we're in a different market. Or I know it worked for them. Oh, we're in a different industry. I know it worked for them. They're a different type of person. Like, they are not me. Like, it's the special snowflake type of mentality. So as you're marketing to people and as you're selling, you need to not just reinforce that it works. You need to reinforce that it works for them. Well, how do you do that? Make sure that you really understand them. And then you create your content or your marketing material in a way that basically allows you to join the conversation that's already happening in their head. So a silly example of this might be driving on the highway. You're stuck in traffic at a place that always has traffic and it pisses you off, and you're on your way home and you're going, man, I've been on the road for 90 minutes. And I look up and I see a billboard that says, if you lived here, you'd be home right now. You go, you're joining the conversation that I'm basically already having in my head. And that is the goal with most marketing. Like, we want to write our messaging. We want to write our copy, our social media, our paid ads in a way that we are joining that conversation that they're already having. And when we do that, what we do is demonstrate that we actually know you. Like, we know you and we know your problems and we know the symptoms that you're experiencing. We know the source of those problems and we know the solution. And the more that I believe you when that happens, the more that I believe that you know me and you have some credibility and a lot of relevance to exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling right now, the more inclined I am going to be to buy. It's the same thing with like social proof, right? If I have a video testimonial that speaks exactly to somebody that looks and talks and says that they're experiencing the same problems, the same pains, the same experiences, I'm like, wow, okay, I was having that exact same problem. Wow, okay, that sounds like me, right? That I can see myself in that person or in that person's scenario or in that person's experience. So when you get social proof that's really relevant to your target market, it's going to hit a lot more than having a bunch of random people sing your praises about a bunch of random stuff. And in that case, it is undeniable that your sales and your marketing will be more effective if you are able to increase its relevance to the person that is reading it. So in that sense, niching down what you sell makes all the sense in the world. The caveat with niching down is differentiating niching your offers from niching your entire brand. Okay, especially if you have a personal brand. So I'll use mine as an example because this has kind of been my experience over the past years. I have different offers that I sell to different markets. I have a strategic growth partnership where I roll up the sleeves. I'm an operator. We get in there and I'm actually going to drive the growth. And this is something that I do very rarely. It's in exchange for equity. It's got to be like a great deal, like something that I know we can 3, 4, 5x this thing in a short period of time. And I know exactly what the problems are. Well, when we find that scenario, I have that offer to sell. I also sell a sales audit and fractional or consulting engagements after that audit to 7 and 8 figure companies. And then I have a community of B2B revenue generators. Some of it's salespeople, some of it's founders, some of it's founders who are also salespeople, some of it's founders who are just getting started in like sales management, building up a sales team. And a lot of these companies are high 6 figures, low 7 figures. And in our community and incubator, we've got, training materials and a forum and other things. Now, these are 3 very different offers. If I was going to write a landing page for each one of those things, I would need to write for that specific audience and what their problems are and what their pains are, and they would be different. And doing that would improve the conversion rate of all 3 of those landing pages. But at the brand level, Ray Green, actually talk about business management. I talk about sales management. I talk about marketing strategies. I talk about productizing your services, living abroad, building a business with a family, fitness regimens, mindset, you name it. So by definition, my brand is multifaceted. And by definition, most brands are. Most brands don't appeal to a very, very slivered target market. They take their offers and they tailor them to that specific market, and they have different offers that are stacked up underneath the brand. So you're effectively niching down, very targeted at the offer level, but at the brand level, it's much more broad. It's much more multifaceted. And here's how I kind of discovered this. And it was a process. It wasn't one aha moment. If I basically rewind 2 years ago, I had been consulting already for a few years. I was posting a lot on LinkedIn, and I had a lot of people start reaching out to me going, "Hey, how are you? Like you're consulting from Cabo, like you're living remotely, you left corporate. You turned all your sales experience into really good income. Can I do that too?" And so I created a course, and then I created a little coaching program, and it did relatively well. And we saw some great results, and I was like, "Hey, this is awesome," and helping other people do this. So what I did to fuel that part of the business was I niched my whole brand. I niched my website, my funnels, my LinkedIn profile, my everything, you name it, across the board. It was all focused at Ray Green does this thing. I was talking to a client that I've had for a long time, one of my best clients, and she says to me, "You make it hard for me to refer you." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, I know other business owners, other 25, 50, $75 million business owners that could really use your services and would pay you a really good money. But when I send them to your stuff, all of your stuff says that you do this one thing. All of your stuff says you help experts become entrepreneurs. And that's not what they want. And you don't have any resources or anything that basically says what you have done for me, which is what I've paid you a lot of money to do recently. And I have other people I could send you." It hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, holy shit. First of all, this is a great client and a lot of revenue. And not that this wasn't, but I realized I'm doing something wrong if I have the opportunity to get more great clients and my current marketing strategy is prohibitive of that or makes that more difficult or creates friction in that sales process. I have a raving fan who wants to send me more very profitable business. And because of what I'm doing over here, even though it's profitable, it's costing me over here. And that's when it dawned on me. And I started to realize over the course of this process, hey, this is a function of brand and offer. If I want to have marketing assets that sell an offer or a program or something that helps this audience get this transformation, and I want to sell another offer that helps this audience get this transformation, then what I need to do is I need to niche those individual offers, and I need to niche all the marketing that's associated with those particular offers. And I need to make sure that they are targeted, they're on point, they're speaking to that avatar. But at the brand level, I need to ensure that I have the flexibility in order to spin out those different offers. So in one sense, when they say you are the niche, got it. That's what that means. I am the niche. Like I am the brand. And this applies if you have a corporate brand. I mean, it's the same exact thing. Think about the NFL. You're going to have different campaigns. You're going to have different advertising. You might even have different products. But the NFL has a broad brand. And within that, it's got different things that appeals to a lot of audiences. Like imagine if the NFL said, no, we only want, of all the people that are watching, we only want that audience. What that would do to that brand if they over niched. But at the same time, imagine what happens if all their advertising doesn't take an avatar into account when they create the ad. When they say, hey, we're going to try to create this ad for everybody in this stadium right now. You go, well, that ad's probably not going to be that good. It's not going to be the message that any one individual needs to hear, so it's not going to work very well. So your brand can be broad, your offers should be targeted, and the answer to the question, have the fundamentals of sales and marketing changed? No. Context is everything. When do you apply this lesson this way, and when do you apply this lesson that way? It's less a matter of that one's right, that one's wrong. It's a matter of that one's right sometimes and that one's right sometimes. When do you do which? I think that is virtually everything. So I hope this has been helpful for you because it really has been one of the most important lessons that I've learned over the past year or two in marketing and growing my business and my businesses. And I hope that those learnings are relevant to you. If this was helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, you're probably going to love my newsletter. So you can join that at the link in the description. Adios.